For today's video, I will be going through some of the questions that was from a previous video where I asked you guys to comment on what kind of questions you may have for me. So for today, I'll be answering these questions with my own answer. The first question that I have is from William Rothschild, aka The Manifestor. He asks, is semen retention a common practice in Singapore? I know it's in China and India. And by the way, you're one of the gurus of semen retention, my opinion. Okay. I wouldn't consider it mainstream in Singapore. I mean, by definition, any Bible-believing Christian should abstain from pornography and premarital sex. And I think at least 20% of Singaporeans are considered Christians. But based on my understanding, among the people I know, many Christians still do struggle with this issue of purity as well. The next question I have is from Matt Getz. He says, I have many questions, but a question that I have from a long time is that I always wondered why you took a break of 2 years on this channel. During this period when you were not active, my NoFap journey didn't go well because I was in flat line or feeling depressed. I would watch your videos, which gave me the strength to pull through and keep moving forward. Well, first off, Matt Getz, you could always revisit some of the videos, number one. And I think number two, I understand why these videos are helpful, which is why I do continue to make them, because in your journey, it is a lot more difficult to do it alone. But at the same time, your semen retention journey or your NoFap journey cannot be purely based on me. It has to come from a place where you are able to say and understand why you're doing it and to be able to stick to it. Back to answering your question, why I took a break is because that was the period where I ended my university studies and I was entering the workforce. Now, genuinely, I struggled in this period in keeping a streak. That means from time to time, after some weeks, after some months, I would relapse on NoFap, on semen retention. And if you actually notice, I only came back after I got a 6-month streak in the bag. The fact is, going on a long streak did make me want to restart this journey of starting my YouTube channel. But another fact of the matter is that starting a YouTube channel actually is time consuming, right? Each of these videos may take me an hour to prepare or more. And I will have to weigh the time that I'm spending on doing these videos against other things that are in my life. And as human beings, we always compare, which thing has more ROI. Should I hang out with my friends? Should I work on coding skills in order to earn more money, etc., etc.? And this is also partly the reason why I do ask for support on Patreon, because pouring my time into all these videos will mean that I have less time for other things in my life. But in terms of how important the things I'm talking about, I would say that it is extremely, extremely, extremely important for men today and in the foreseeable future. With the rise of social media, with the rise of TikTok and short form content, the attack on masculinity, the attack on the dopaminergic system in your brain is going to get worse and worse. More and more men will feel crippled because they consume all these sexually stimulating contents. They will have depression in their lives, and this is something that is very meaningful to talk about, because purity is one of the most important things that I have ever experienced in my life. So in the light of this, I genuinely don't mind, even if I'm not financially rewarded in talking about all this, as long as I can see more pure men walk this earth. And finally, I don't really like to talk about something that's purely theoretical. The fact is, right now I'm almost 9 months into my purity streak. If I were actually struggling every few days with my streak, then the ethos of my video, the authority behind my words, they wouldn't really mean as much. If I told you that I am 9 hours into my NoFap streak versus now I'm 9 months in my NoFap streak, I think coming from a place of a higher streak means that I'm actually committed to this message, means that I actually have valuable information to share. The next question is by Dum Forrester. He said, I asked under another video, but let me repeat it here. What do you think about positive thinking / law of attraction / new age beliefs in general? Okay, I used to read books on these and I understand what all these things are. I think positive thinking is great because positive thinking leads to positive talking, and in general I prefer talking to someone who likes to focus more on the positive, the can do rather than can't do. In terms of law of attraction, it is good for people who already have great work ethic but perhaps need to dream bigger. It cannot be a replacement for work ethic. See, Bruce Lee mentioned that there are two ways to earn material success in this world: using imagination or using insane work ethic. And I believe both are required. So while you are dreaming, using whatever you call law of attraction, visualizing the success that you want, it is not enough because you will have to put in the work. You have to put in the hours in order to get that which you desire. If you keep using law of attraction to think about attracting a woman versus going to an actual woman asking for her number, I genuinely believe option number 2 would work a lot better if you ask me. Law of attraction cannot be an excuse for cowardice. Law of attraction cannot be a substitute for hard work. But I would encourage positive thinking. The next question that I have is from Matt Getz again. I think he said something like, some of the other question I have and points of improvements is, why not tell us more about what you work as, what's your gym routine, what kind of exercises, and do you play any games? What about your experience in the dating market? And I want to thank you, right? So, in terms of where I work at, I don't really want to talk about that because some parts of my life I prefer to keep more private. If in the future it makes sense, maybe I can share more, but for now I would like to keep it private. What is my gym routine? I do simple exercises. So every time I hit the gym, I try to work out most, if not all, of my body parts, which includes, let's say, legs, which is squats, bench press, which is the chest. I work on my shoulders, biceps, triceps, and other small muscle groups. Sometimes I'll add in some deadlifts as well. I prefer a simple way to keep track of my workout. So I don't really like to do the thing that bodybuilders do, where they do legs days, arm days, and back days, etc. I work out every body part. I do 5 sets of 5 reps, so that's strength training. It's a very basic training. I don't aim to become a bodybuilder. So sometimes I'll train 2 times a week, sometimes I'll train 3 times a week. But the philosophy here that I have is that even if I train once a week, at least I hit every single muscle group. Is the efficiency really the most important part of it? To me, it is not. I believe more in the Pareto principle. I want to put in 20% of effort for 80% of the results. And with my current gym routine, that is enough. If this is something that interests some of you watching this, I may come up with some content that is related to this as well. In terms of the games I play, yes, I play Mobile Legends. Still do from time to time nowadays. And dating experience, I would like to keep more private for now. But if there are some nice stories that I can share, I would. One more question from Red Zebra. Will falling in love and sleeping with a girl make my streak a failure, or is it only about PMO and not orgasming the natural way. I believe you are asking about whether it is okay to lose your seed by having sex, right? Okay. See, if you're on NoFap, that's totally fine by the definition of NoFap. If you're on semen retention and you're serious about it, that means you should not bust a nut with a go. There's something in between. I think they call it non-ejaculatory orgasm, where you have sex, but then you do not bust a nut. I can share with you what my views are, but this will not be rooted that much in experience, okay? Personally, as a Christian, I would not have premarital sex. So I would practice semen retention all the way until I am married. But if I were not a Christian, meaning I do not actually believe that staying pure until marriage, for example, is something important, I would still refrain from spilling my seed randomly until and unless I'm really committed to a woman that I love. Now, this brings up an important and interesting point because men today view spilling their seed as a reward, right? Yay, I had sex. When in fact, you are literally giving something away. By practicing semen retention, you will realize that in fact, you are the prize, you are the giver, right? And your seed, your semen is valuable. And when you choose not to spill your load randomly, you will gain more self-respect. That's roughly it for today's video. If you like this video, like it, comment, and subscribe. And if you are interested, you can always check out my Patreon page. Link is in the description box. So thank you, and I'll see you again.